All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to tear down one of the biggest myths in all of marketing, and we're going to do it using a really powerful framework from the author Rishi Khullar. We're about to find out why so much marketing just doesn't work and how you can make yours connect by talking to the part of the brain that's actually making the decisions. So here it is, the big mistake we all make. We think we're selling to the single logical customer who carefully weighs the pros and cons. But as Khullar points out, that person doesn't really exist. They're a myth. The brain we're actually dealing with is running on software that was designed for survival 10,000 years ago. It isn't logical, it's purely biological. And that basic mismatch is where most of our brilliant campaigns just fall flat. Okay, so if you're not selling to one rational person, then who the heck is at the controls? This is the question that unlocks absolutely everything. And the answer isn't a who, it's a what. It's a committee of ancient, competing voices, all fighting for the steering wheel. And this is where it gets really interesting. The human brain isn't one single thing. Think of it more like a suite of 7 ancient subselves, and each one has a very specific, non-negotiable mission. At any given moment, only one of these actors is running the show. And if you're talking to the wrong one, your message is completely invisible. It's just noise. So let's meet the team, shall we? You've got the night watchman, who is totally driven by fear. Then there's the compulsive, who is all about purity and avoiding contamination. You've got the team player, terrified of being kicked out of the tribe. The go-getter, who is just obsessed with status. The swinging single, always looking for novelty and attraction. The good spouse, focused on commitment. And finally, the parent, driven by the need to leave a legacy. The whole key here is that truly effective marketing bypasses all the logic and speaks directly to one of these actors. So, how do we actually do that? How do we activate them? For that, we're going to grab a classic tool set from Dr. B.J. Fogg, the B equals MA pay model. But we're going to give it a twist, looking at it through this powerful evolutionary lens. And what that gives us is a practical, step-by-step formula for actually influencing behavior. The formula itself looks super simple, right? Behavior happens when you have motivation, ability, and a prompt, all at the same time. But, and this is the crucial part, when you look at each of these 3 things through the lens of our Stone Age brain, they become incredibly powerful tools. So, let's break them down. First up is motivation. And this is probably the biggest mind shift of the whole model. Your job isn't to create motivation. Forget that. Your job is to hijack it. You find the subself that's already in the driver's seat, let's say it's the fearful night watchman, and you channel that existing primal energy. You make them feel the fear of what happens if they don't take action. Next, let's talk about ability. And again, this isn't about skill, it's about friction. That Stone Age brain is lazy. It is biologically wired to conserve energy whenever possible. So your job is to make the thing you want them to do the absolute path of least resistance. Make buying effortless. Make leaving or canceling difficult. Think about the difference between a one-click purchase and trying to cancel a gym membership. That's friction management. And finally, the prompt. Look, we are swimming in a sea of noise. A gentle little nudge just isn't going to cut it. The prompt has to be a biological interrupt, a super stimulus. We're talking about those glaring red notification badges, the urgent limited time only banners. It has to be a signal so loud and bright that it bypasses the thinking brain and demands an immediate gut-level reaction. Now, when you put all this together, it leads us to the single most important rule in this whole playbook. The one thing you absolutely, positively cannot do is cross the streams. You have to speak the right language to the right subself. If you get this wrong, the brain just hits the ignore button. Let's make this super clear. Let's say you're selling a retirement plan. You're targeting the parents' drive for legacy, right? Or maybe the night watchman's need for security. So a message like, give them the start you never had, that hits home. It works. But what if you try to sell that exact same plan with some sexy, impulsive ad meant for the swinging single? The message is dead on arrival. The brain just short circuits. And it works in reverse, too. A sports car is a status symbol. It's talking to the go-getter's need to climb the ladder. So a message about exclusivity and how your peers are already here, that's perfect. But what if you tried to sell that car by talking about its 5-star safety rating? That's a message for the anxious night watchman. The go-getter just yawns. You've completely whiffed on the actual motivation of your buyer. So what does this all really mean for you? It means you have to shift your entire perspective on what your job is. You are not a persuader. You're an architect. You're not just crafting a catchy message. You are literally designing the environment where a decision gets made. This quote right here is the whole game. Behavior is almost an inevitable outcome of the environment you're in. If there's junk food on the counter, you're going to eat it. If the app icon is on your home screen, you're going to open it. The real power isn't in convincing people. It's in designing an environment where the action you want them to take is the only logical, biological, and easy outcome. So here it is, your new playbook boiled down to 4 clear steps. First, you have to identify which of those 7 subselves is driving the bus. Second, you hijack its core motivation. You don't try to create a new one. Third, you remove every single ounce of friction from the path you want them to take. And finally, step 4, you hit them with a prompt that is so compelling it cannot possibly be ignored. And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. The question you need to ask yourself isn't just, what should I say? It's, what world am I building for my customer? Are you just trying to persuade them, or are you designing their reality so that your solution becomes the only choice that makes any sense at all?